Hello, Boot Sampson here. I'm doing a hell of a social experiment right now. Social media. You know what I'm saying? I was not just allowed to talk out against the Islamic culture that's trying to fucking take over in America. In Dearborn, Michigan, I couldn't talk out about them, so let's see if I can do this. Let me talk out about something about another religion, Christianity. Did you know I can equally disprove them all? You know, as I was coming back from the store just getting some pre-rolls, notice this church had a sign out that said, Jesus is the truth. That is the most blatant fucking lie that any church could ever put on its fucking scroll like that. And before you get mad about it, let me tell you why there's an educational reasoning why. It's also why the word Christian came from the French word cretin, which means short, imbecile, retard. It all started with the Roman Catholic Church, the Vatican Church, and the Orthodox Christian Church, right? Orthodox runs Russia. Vatican State is the largest landowners in the entire world. That deed to the land, that deed to God, oh, they just get to hold it, right? But, you know, you probably don't do your own research, and you probably think I'm bullshitting or speaking outside of my neck. If I was, they should probably pay me to be a writer, because let me tell you something. Jesus ain't the truth, because, first of all, it's Jesus, all right? The letter J did not exist until 1452. I mean, like, legit, in the development of the Spanish language. Now, when I say that Jesus ain't the truth, that doesn't mean that I am denouncing that there was a tale of a Nazarites were his followers, who was born in Bethlehem, disappeared from Texas around the age of 12, picked back up at 33 riding a donkey back into Jerusalem. And let me tell you, there's even texts about where he was in between that time. Those are the ones they left out. He went to Egypt, to the mystery schools, and he went to Tibet, and studied with the monks. He got acknowledged by the Dalai Lama. A part of a religion that has existed well before Christianity and Judaism and Islam. But shall we return to the subject? And that Nazarene had a name. His name was Yeshua. Yeshua. No, it's kind of like, the first 5 books of the Bible are the Torah, the original Hebrew Bible. The ones that the Jews go by. And that's literally it. Like, they don't go by anything past that. But the beginning of the Quran is also the Torah, because Islam separated from the Jewish nation. Kind of like all the denominations that the fucking Christians have. Fucking when nobody fucking, one of them, not a single one of them knows what the fuck they're even talking about, or even can tell me where their text came from. They're going to tell you what a pope or a bishop told somebody in the Catholic order, even though they're in a denomination like in a completely Mormons. They're still gonna they're gonna believe they're the only ones that's right, and all the other denominations are wrong. Like Christian, like there was Judaism and Islam, and like that. But then Christianity just took that and just went to the fucking moon with it. Anyway, all 3 religions exist only because of force, not because of faith. And right there are words that a lot of you have mixed up. See, even in Christianity, you can read it in your Bible. In the first books of the Bible, in that's the Torah, you will read the same God that's supposed to be loving and caring ordered the Israelites to wipe out the inhabitants of Canaan, men, women, and children. You also have it saying that they could have slaves, which is why the Muslim countries believe they can still have slaves. They're just slightly modified Judaism. In fact, Aramaic, what they speak, came from Hebrew when they split. And it's almost just as similar as English is to Spanish. So back to the name thing. Now, there's been translation, because obviously Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and Numbers were originally written in Hebrew. When they became part of the Quran, the first part of the Quran, they were rewritten in Aramaic. And then them same Jewish translations were translated to English. One thing you don't really hear the Muslims and the Jews, you know what I'm saying, bitch about each other, is what the Christians bitch about all the other religions. That's not God. That says Yahweh. That's not God. That says Elohim. That's not God. It says Allah. But I mean, the Christians not realize that the language that they speak, English, the language we speak, it's like a modern language. A real modern language compared to Hebrew, which was the first written language in recorded history. Till we found cuneiform, of course. Now, the thing is, though, no matter what translation it's in Hebrew, it's in Aramaic, or it's in English. Only that word of what and the thing is, it's not too much different between Judaism and Islam, because Yahweh and Allah mean the same thing. The breath of life. Yeah. There you go. God don't sound nothing like that. It sounds like you're choking on a cock. So why is the reason of the different pronunciations, which completely give a different meaning? Yet names like Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. And notice I said Jacob. Because every name that you read of that they translated into the King James Bible, in all translation sense, the name starts with J, the name did not exist. John, for instance, is Jan. I-O-N. He actually lived like 300 years before Christ. If the Christ that we're talking about, because there's 17 of them within the text, is Yahusha. Now, Abraham, Lot, Isaac, Israel, Ezekiel, Adam, and David, regardless of which one of those I just spoke, in which language you want to write it in, Aramaic, Hebrew, or English, the pronunciation matches. Now, the biggest disrespect in literature is to change someone's name. Sort of like they really didn't explain well, because other languages, words, one word can mean like what we'd have 4 words to speak of in English. You know what I'm saying? It has meaning to it, okay? So when they translated it to the English, you know what I'm saying, they just stuffed a whole bunch of words in it, and that's the reason why the English language has been able to confuse everybody. And the reason why it's the hardest language to learn, because like literally it is complex. Knights Templar and all of them were very damn good at codes. The fact that, you know what I'm saying, the law system and legal systems everywhere run off of the black law English, but we speak the Webster's Dictionary English, a language that the Vatican, it was developed after the Vatican's creation, after the Crusades, right? So, like, as long as what they were doing is they were genociding people. If they didn't convert, they were fucking executing them in the worst fucking ways. 3 or 4 generations later, nobody fucking is around to remember what it was like. Then all of a sudden, like, nobody could read or write, right? Maybe I'm getting a little bit too deep on this. I just want to show social media that I'm not hating on one type. Like, I'm speaking out against all religion. I'm speaking for the actually waking up and awakening of our consciousness of everybody to realize if we get that out the way, we can all be on the same level. It's the beginning of division. First there was religion, and there was government. And government is just another construct of religion. Because let's be real, people. Just ask yourself this. No matter what you believe, if you believe Islam and Muhammad and all that, if you believe Judaism, you believe that Yahweh ain't even fucked with us in like at least like 5,000 years. If you believe Islam, then you believe that there's been no prophet for 1,000 years. If you believe Christianity, then there's been no contact of God at all for 2,025 years. Yet in every bit of that book that you believe in, there was never a time longer than maybe even a year, at least less than a century, between when these guys that you're supposed to fucking give all your faith and power to were constantly in contact with humans. But what, they forgot to fucking, you know what I'm saying, come around and chill for the last 2,000 years? 6,000 years? Look, you don't have to even knock any of the morals of religions, because they just all good morals. But you don't need the religion for the morals.